So this is my last time going over these genetics pedigrees, these family trees that we have, okay? So we've done several samples for you so far. Let's go over some more complex ones, okay? So these are your pedigree, a little bit more complex. This is similar to our last video. I'm just giving you 3 more different ones to look at, okay? The more times you see me do these, the more times it starts to click. Once again, I'm going to remind you, this paper, this is where I'm reading the rules. This is where I'm getting the rules. They're right here and right here. This is the information I'm going to be saying to you guys. So if you're wondering where it comes from, it's coming from your notes. That's what I'm saying to you, okay? So here's a pedigree right here. This is sample problem number 4, all right? Just like all the other pedigrees, you got to go to sex-linked first and prove sex-linked wrong before you move on to the autosomal ones, okay? So we got to go to number 1 every time. Here's the first rule. If mom has it, all of her boys will have it. Mom has it, her boy has it, she only has one son, he has it, okay? Mom has it here, this son has it, this son does not have it. Right here, if mom has it, all of her boys must have it. Guess what? Right away on the first rule, we just proved sex-linked wrong. Okay, the first rule, sex-linked, wrong. It's not sex-linked. Done. You're done. You don't even need to read any more rules. If you prove it wrong, then you move forward. Okay. If it doesn't apply, that doesn't mean you proved it wrong. If it doesn't apply, you keep looking at the rules. Okay. But right now, we know if a female has it, all of her sons must have it. He doesn't have it, not sex-linked. So we go to number 2, which is autosomal and recessive, okay? There's only one rule for number 2. If mom and dad both have it, so if mom and dad, parents, both have it, all their kids must have it. Mom and dad both have it, and all their kids do not have it. We've just proved number 2 is inaccurate also. So it's not 1, it's not 2, then all you do is you copy down the labels for number 3. Where do you get those labels? On your paper. They're right here. The labels are on your paper. I'm copying those labels onto my pedigree, and then the goal is to fill in the blanks afterwards. So here's what you should have. Okay, so I just copied all the information from the notes. Now the goal is to go in and see if we can fill in the blanks. Let's start here. Small a's, that's their daughter. The one came from dad, the other one comes from mom. Done. Look at this one, their son. The capital A came from mom. What's the letter dad's going to give? Small a, right there. Okay, over here, look, that's mom. What's the only letter she can give her children? Small a's. It's the only letter that she can pass down. Then we go over here. Mom and dad. Oh, look at this mom. Look at her dad. Her dad gave her a small a. Look at their child over here. Small a's. One from there, one from there. Finally, we have someone down here. Capital A, blank. They could be capital A, they could be capital A blank. We do not know their genotype for certain. So one person, we're not positive about their genotype, okay? That's how we do pedigree number 4. Now let's do number 5. Okay, what is the inheritance pattern of this one? What do we got? All right, so let's go through the list. Start with number one. You start with sex linked. And I just realized on the previous one, I forgot to write down the inheritance pattern on the previous one. So the one we just did, pedigree number 4, was autosomal and dominant, in case you didn't write it down. So write down autosomal and dominant for pedigree number 4. That was the inheritance pattern. Now we're on number 5. Let's look at it. This is what we got, okay? We got to do sex linked first. The rule number 1, female has it, all of her sons will have it. Sons have it, okay? We didn't prove it wrong. She has it, but she has no boys. We don't know what her boys look like. Rule number 2, if a female has it, her father must have it. She has it, her father has it. She has it, we don't know what her father looks like. That's okay. We can't prove it wrong. It just doesn't apply, okay? Rule number 3, if both mom and dad have it, all of their kids must have it. We don't have that on here anywhere. We don't have anywhere on here where mom and dad both have a characteristic. So it doesn't apply. That doesn't mean it's wrong. It did not prove it wrong. It just does not apply to our pedigree. Okay? So since we haven't proven sex linked wrong, guess what, everybody? We have sex linked. We couldn't prove any one of those first 3 rules wrong. So now we start labeling it with X's and Y's according to your notes, according to these labels right here in your notes. I'm going to start filling them in, and then we got to fill in the blanks. So let's begin. Okay, now the goal is to go in and fill in the blanks. All right, so let's start. We have a blank here, we have a blank here, we have a blank down here. We got to see if we can start filling them in. All right, so let's look here right away. Okay, let's look at this one first. Oh, look, X capital A, X blank, X lowercase a, Y. Well, look at this daughter here. That X small a came from dad. That little a had to come from mom, right there. Okay, there's the first one, all right? Now let's go back up here to this one up here. Let's see if we can figure out this mom, all right? X small a right there, X capital A right there. This could be a capital A, it could be a lowercase a, it could be either letter, so we're gonna leave it blank. We do not know exactly what it is. Finally, down here, oh, look. Okay, X capital A came from mom. What's the only letter dad could give? Dad had to pass down a lowercase a right there, lowercase a. Okay, so everything else is filled in. We have one uncertain genotype. All the rest, we know their genotypes. Okay, so we couldn't prove sex linked wrong. Some of the rules didn't apply, but we could not prove it wrong. Therefore, we have sex linked according to this. Okay, now let's try sample problem number 6. Okay, here we go. Sample problem number 6. All right, just like before, you have to start with, and by the way, I don't think I wrote sex linked on the other one, sex linked and recessive. The other one was sex linked. Now we got to figure out this inheritance pattern. Okay, you always go through sex linked first. Got to prove it wrong before you move on. So rule number 1, female has it, all of her boys have it. Female has it, none of her boys have it. He's supposed to have it. We just proved it wrong right away. Female has it, her boys have to have it. It's not sex linked. We just proved it wrong. Okay? So this one, not sex linked. Just so you know, it gets proved wrong in a couple places. The second rule is if a female has it, then her dad has to have it. Her dad doesn't have it. Her dad doesn't have it. Okay, so we proved it wrong. We proved it not sex-linked in 2 different ways. Okay, so this one, not sex-linked. Now, rule number 2. Okay, there's only one rule for number 2. If both parents have it, all their kids must have it. We don't even have that on here anywhere. We don't even have that rule on here. It doesn't apply. So we did not prove it wrong. So since we didn't prove it wrong, guess what? We have number 2. We have autosomal and recessive. Then you take your paper and you label these genotypes for autosomal recessive. You put them on your pedigree, and then you try to fill in the blanks. So let me put them on the pedigree. Okay, now we try to fill in the blanks like usual. So let's start playing around. Okay, let's start here. Dad and mom. Oh, look, mom has small a's. That has to be a small a. That's not their son. That's married to their daughter. But look at their child, has small a's also. Okay, one came from there, one came from there. That's how you make that kid. Okay, let's go over here. Small a, small a. Look. Children, they got to get small a's from that mom. All right, we have one here though. We have a blank right here. This blank could be a capital A or it could be a lowercase a. We're going to leave it blank. We don't know what it is exactly. It could be either one. Okay, let's move on over here. Look at their child. These people have that child. Small a's. Okay, now look, daughter. Daughter here. This daughter could be capital A or capital A lowercase a. We're going to leave it blank. We don't know what it is for certain. Okay. Over here, look at these children, small a's. Okay. So how many blanks or how many uncertain genotypes? 1, 2. Okay. So to be successful at these, you're going to have to print these out or redraw them. You're going to need to write on them. You're going to need to label genotypes. You're not going to need to play around with letters and where they could come from on how to be successful at doing these. Okay. So remember the rules. Rules are prove sex link wrong, then you go to autosomal. Prove number 2, which is autosomal recessive wrong, then you go to number 3, which is autosomal and dominant. Okay. Thank you so much. We'll see you soon.